But yeah, Robinson, Tomlinson, Andrews, Howard, and Fisher was the first offensive line they put out there today. Now, DJ Bieniemy did say that Jarrett Patterson rotated with the ones at center. So, like, DJ Bieniemy is using depth chart words. And he said Ariante Ursary rotated with the ones at right tackle. So, like, I think those are your 7 guys who are currently in the mix to be the starting offensive line for the Texans. But, yes, a lot will change between now and week 1. Biggest questions for Texans OTAs. This from Jonathan Alexander in the Houston Chronicle. How will the offensive line shake out? Which everybody and their mother was reporting today, different variations of the offensive line and what they saw. About what we expected for the Houston Texans. Like, their starting offensive line with the first one that they ran out, but they were also throwing out like a bunch of different variations. Like Ursary was playing left tackle and right tackle, I saw. Fisher was with the curious thing to me was Tytus Howard was playing right guard. Yeah. Which I assumed he would be the left guard.
I did too. And Fisher was primarily at right tackle.
Yeah, the first offensive line that they ran out was Cam Robinson at left tackle, which is no surprise there. Laken Tomlinson at left guard. The center was Jake Andrews.
I saw that.
Who came over from the Patriots. I think he was a waiver claim, wasn't he?
Yep.
The right guard was Tytus Howard, and then the right tackle, the first offensive line that they ran out there, which how much weight does this have? I don't know. Blake Fisher at right tackle.
It's interesting. Again, it's OTAs.
Yeah.
So there's a whole hell of a lot of time and things to sort out. But again, when you're searching for a storyline, the Texans are probably going to live a little. You're right. Andrews at center was the most intriguing to me, as well as right guard. But at the same time, it's one day, and it's all going to change. I know that they've been high on Tomlinson too.
Like, what is a better chance of happening? What is a better chance of the starting offensive line? The first offensive line that they ran out there today, or the 5th offensive line they ran out there today?
Oh, just today alone?
So, I'm with you that it carries almost no value, but I think it carries some value.
See, I don't know. I think that again, the 5th offensive line is something where they're just trying different combinations and with no rhyme or reason to it, saying we're going to start with this one, we're going to eventually get to this one, and it could very well be that the 5th one is the one that the guys are in their more natural positions. I don't know.
See, I'm a believer that they actually have a depth chart right now. They'll say that they don't. But why is Cam Robinson playing left tackle and Tytus Howard's playing right guard and Blake Fisher? I firmly believe that these are their number ones. Now, a lot can change. I 100% agree with you. Like, we do the scales a lot on the shows, like degree of importance, 1 to 10. I think it's a 1. But that's more than 0.
Yeah.
That's more than 0.
No, and again, it'll be interesting because I agree with you that they have a depth chart. It's just funny because of the guys that they've been talking about. Was it Ladarius Henderson? Is like this under the radar guy that suddenly they're trying to pump up. But when you really start getting down to it, I'm sure that Ladarius Henderson is more like, the kind of guys that are the 6th and 7th receiver right now. He's way back on the depth chart as they try and figure out how good the veterans that they brought in are still going to be. Center to me is the most intriguing of all.
That caught me off guard, Jake Andrews. I think there's a better chance Ladarius Henderson gets cut than as a start, starter. Like, make the team probably the safe bet, but how so much gets talked about. Like, what was it, the season ticket holder event the other day where DeMeco was asked which veteran has been the most impressive to you, and he said Justin Watson. Watson was not there today. Like it doesn't, like, these little things are trivial and silly. When they're on the field, I think it actually matters.
That's when Nick was at that event, and then Nick, when he did one of his interviews on the Highway to Hell, he was all over Ladarius as the guy.
Right, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Robinson, Tomlinson, Andrews, Howard, and Fisher was the first offensive line they put out there today. Now, DJ Bieniemy did say that Jarrett Patterson rotated with the ones at center. So, like, DJ Bieniemy is using depth chart words. And he said Ariante Ursary rotated with the ones at right tackle. So, like, I think those are your 7 guys who are currently in the mix to be the starting offensive line for the Texans. But, yes, a lot will change between now and week 1. Which receivers emerge? We'll save that conversation for a different day. I will say that the receiver room, I'm pretty bullish on the receiver room. I think you have a lot of talent there. Your top 4 is pretty dangerous. Nico, Kirk, and then the 2 rookies with Higgins and Knoll. And, like, maybe Mechie and Hutchinson, like, surprise us and are decent.
It'd be great. It'd be great because I agree that I think that there is a ton of talent in that room. And the fact that the 2 guys that were playing somewhat of a role for you the last couple of years are going to be fighting for roster spots. And we haven't even talked about guys they brought in because I do think that there's something to some of the guys that they brought in as guys that could potentially be a weapon for this team this year. So I believe that unlike in years past, we were like, it's one of the least talented receiver rooms right now in the league. I think that they have a ton of talent in the receiver room this year.
Yeah, I do too as well. Can the defense take another step? Asked Jonathan Alexander. I think they can. I think they can be a top 5 defense.
I think they already did. I think the fact, like we talked about, you bring in an EJ Speed, you drafted some depth in the secondary. I think that you brought back some guys that had significant seasons last year, and you still got the 2 guys on the edge. I think you bolstered the interior defensive line. So
last year they were 14th in points allowed.
I think they're better than that this year.
Oh, I think they could be top 5.
I was going to say top 10, but yeah.
Maybe I'm wearing the goggles. Maybe I'm wearing the Homer hat. But I think their defense is stacked, man. Like their defense is pretty loaded. And then will Anderson have a big year? Yeah, I think
so. I mean, look, I think both those guys, Anderson and Hunter, are going to be Anderson and Hunter.
I will say that anything that happens at voluntary OTAs will not factor into Will Anderson having a big year, though.